Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
What's up? Big Herc 916, getting down with Fresh Out and another Prison Talk. Had a viewer email a question, and he asked if you'd rather be the buffest, strongest guy on the yard, or would you want to be the smartest, most intelligent guy on the yard? That's easy. The smart guy. Because the smart guy, he's going to build relationships, and based on his intelligence, that's going to transcend how much weight he can lift. The smart guy might do a few push-ups here and there, a few sit-ups, but he brings value to those he interacts with. And I've met guys like this, guys who have been in the real estate game prior to being locked up, so they can help another person who's looking to invest their money, give them the ins and outs of what they need to know when they go to buy their first piece of rental property. They maybe can help this person set up their LLC, how to set up their trust for their family to protect their assets. This guy's well versed because he's been in different circles, and he can maybe help the guy who hasn't been in these circles navigate in a way where he can come in with an advantage. And a lot of that just comes from communicating. And there's multiple smart guys on the yard. I met really intelligent brothers. I met really intelligent Latino guys, white guys, Asian guys. Whenever I was on a particular yard, I tried to find out who was the smartest person so I could get next to them and try to pick their brain. I met a brother who put me up on writing books, self-publishing, doing scripts. He inspired me. Shout out to the homie Cleo. Welcome home. But yeah, I was always trying to get some game so that thinking about the future, I had something that was of value I could use on the street. I wasn't really tripping off of being the buffest or strongest dude, or really, working out with the guy who was the biggest on the yard. And it wasn't hard to see who was the swollest dude on the yard or the strongest guy in the yard. I mean, you would see, everybody passed by everybody interacted. And, I was always cool with the dude who was the strongest, usually on the yard to some degree, a small conversation, talking about different workout things, because I always stayed working out too. So I kept a balance. I worked out, but I always worked my mental muscle. And, in the feds, they took the weights from all the USPs, all the mediums, so you're not doing any type of resistance working out with weights. You have to do body stuff, calisthenics, and a lot of guys are calisthenic monsters, burpees, pull-ups, dips, water bags, book bags, whatever you can lift. You try to utilize that to keep yourself in shape. It's not the same as free weights on the street, but to a degree, it helps you, keep your muscles under some type of resistance. and it allows you to do something besides just body workouts. So I always worked out with laundry bags full of legal material, and me and my workout partner, Chef V, we would get down with the laundry bag workouts in the afternoons. Hit the yard in the morning, laundry bag workouts after that, then go hit the law library in the evening, and that was our routine. And we just brainstorm. And usually in the law library, you find the smart guys. They're in there, reading, everything from Tom Clancy to, maybe teaching a class on the stock market, sharing insight about just purchasing foreclosures. I had a guy in there, we would talk cars, about flipping cars, about, different hustles as far as in the automotive, or maybe getting some insight on what you would do to start maybe a clothing brand. A few guys, and a lot of guys were entrepreneurial. There was a lot of guys who maybe were in the game, but they usually had an entrepreneurial side that was legit, that you can get some insight from. The smart guy, it's going to take you a lot further. And the funny thing is, a lot of people that worked out religiously in prison, once they got out, they kind of stopped working out. They didn't have the time. I've ran into guys and they'd be like, "Big Herc, what's up, man? I see you still looking good, bro. You still been working out?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. I didn't stop." They're like, "Oh, man, that was for me. That was a prison thing. I'm out here, doing my thing, getting money." And they get money, and they still got a little size on them, but a lot of these guys is just like working out's not a priority. For me, working out has always been a way to decompress, meditate, to channel my mind into a very relaxed state. And I worked out as a kid. That was how I, at 14 years old, that was how I coped with just a lot of questioning of who I was. Working out would kind of help me define myself in a sense. And so I always worked out, always read books, always did something creative. That was just my personality. But which one do you want to be? Well, if you're the strong guy of the yard, you best believe you got to watch yourself. You got people gunning for you. You got dudes hating, seeing that you're, the man. But like I said, most of these places in prison now, there's no weights. So, being a strong guy might just be somebody who's just a big dude. Somebody who's, when they take their shirt off, they look like they are a Marvel comic book hero. But honestly, most guys who are strong and in great shape in prison are always covered up. In the USPs, I've never seen guys peel. I've seen it, guys on the yard working out with their khakis on, and it's a 90-something, 800 degrees, and you covered up. You don't want nobody to see what you're working with, because you're exposing yourself, and the haters will start plotting. So even if you are the strongest guy in the yard, physically, you're not flossing it. You're doing it in a way where people don't know until they, have to get a demonstration put down on them. But yeah, smart guys, I've talked about it before. And the ones who aren't egotistical or narcissistic, they winning, man. They winning because they understand what it takes to share that knowledge with other people, and in a sense it insulates some guys, because if somebody says something, they're like, "Dude, that dude's helping me with my appeal, or he's teaching me something." If somebody's of value, somebody you're learning from, and it'd be multiple races in prison now to kind of protect that guy. to a degree, and make sure, like, ain't no bullshit gonna happen to him, because if he leaves the yard, if he gets checked in, packed out, jumped, whatever it is they were learning that can help them in the future is gone. So the smart guy is an asset. The other guy, who's the strong guy, he serves a purpose too. But I tell you, the guy who's the strongest, or who you think's the biggest, is usually not the most dangerous. It's the quiet guy, the silent assassin in there, the one who you don't even know what his voice sounds like because he never talks. He's the one you gotta watch out for. He's the most dangerous. That dude, he'll come up next to somebody and he'll drop a body, you won't even know it. That's how, calculating the silent guy is, the quiet one. And like I said, he's not even super buff. He's in great shape. He has long cardio, but he's not the buffest, not even the strongest. He's a combination of like military tactics, intelligence, and violence combined in one. And that guy, you could be sitting at a table with him and you don't even know the half of what this person's capable of. I've met those guys too. You can see it in their eyes. And for me, because I was somebody who was, articulate and well-spoken, I was able to navigate through these different circles of people. Dominicans, Cubans, dudes from DC, brothers from the East Coast, guys from Florida, Chicago, Philly. I was able to navigate with a lot of people and learn a lot, man. Learn a lot. So, for your question, I hope I answered the best I could. But being the smartest or the strongest, or just the quiet guy, hey, man, just stay out of prison. Just stay out of prison, man. Stay out of prison and avoid this whole bullshit, and you'll win all the way around the board. Go to FreshOutSeries.com, pick up some merch, subscribe, share the channel.
Go. Hey, what does your shirt say?
Cancel culture.
Why is it crossed out?
Because over at Fresh Out, we ain't with that bullshit. Pick you up a shirt at FreshOutSeries.com.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.